Radio personality and real estate aficionado, Sherrod has taken on the role as lead contractor of her life, from flipping homes to flipping careers, and recently the new addition of baby Harper to her family. Egypt sat down with PLASTIQ Magazine along with her husband DJ Fidel and was an open book. Make sure you catch the interview right here. Congratulations on the new addition to your family.
Thank you. Much appreciated.
Of course. Tell me, everyone always talks about Sierra and the prayer that she did for Russell Wilson. Was there a prayer that you two may have orchestrated up specifically to find each other?
She has a great story with her prayer.
I was just interested in whether you had a prayer for me. I've never heard that one.
I didn't, so I was already doing that asking the universe situation and didn't even know it. When we first met, I tell the story all the time, from afar, it was like the light was only on her. And I tell her to this day, I knew I loved her before I even met her. It was one of those situations. So I don't know if that's considered to be a prayer, but I know, or I knew at that moment, that was my wife, right? And I knew from that point on, because it was several instances where we kept meeting.
It took a year.
I'm going to get her.
Yeah.
No matter what it takes. Whatever the hurdles, I got it.
I didn't know that happened. I mean, he told the story to me several times about seeing me. I didn't even know he was looking at me, you know, one night in a club. But we had met several times after, and I would not give him any airplay, literally and figuratively. Long story, secret joke. But I wouldn't, and one day, I ran into him at a club, and it was after we had this like ongoing tit for tat, and he's like, "You don't give me your number or what?" But it wasn't until I got in trouble on a house flip that I was working on, and I asked my mentor to refer someone else to me, and then he pulls up with his contractor team, and he literally saved my life. I had like one foot stuck in a roof, and one foot wasn't. But yeah, we kind of fell in love because I looked at him differently. You have to understand, as a single woman, then I was a radio personality in New York City, people would hit on me for the wrong reasons, and so I just assumed he knows he's all that. No, it's not going to be that easy.
No. See, but that's what was going through her head, I guess, now that I know.
Yes, that is.
Yes.
Because I saw him the second time I saw you, he was on a float DJing.
Okay.
And he had his shirt off with some jeans down in here, some Timberlands. I was like, is he like a stripper in the part-time? Like oiled up, baby wailing out, cute and everything, but that's not my style. You know?
Okay, hold on. Let's stop right there.
Are you from New York?
I'm from New York.
Tim's and shorts.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So that's not my style. We're gonna have to fix that, because unbeknownst to me, later on in our relationship, I found out that she passed that float 3 to 4 times trying to get my attention.
Oh, you was like a bad.
I
See,
acted like I was going to McDonald's.
What happened?
And then McDonald's got hot water on, and I went back for some sauce. Well, so you asked about a prayer, so let me get serious here for a minute. Prior to my husband, I was in another relationship. Actually, I've been in a series of bad relationships, and I just decided, you know what? This last one didn't work out. I'm not going to make it about a man. I'm not going to make it about dating. I'm going to make it about me. I want to center myself, find myself, learn about meditation, get in the best shape of my life, spiritually and physically. And it's funny how when we don't put our energy towards finding someone, they just kind of fall into our lap. And that's kind of how I looked at it, because when he came into my life, I didn't even realize I've been vision boarding. And I told God, this is the house I want to live in. And this is the car I want to drive. This is the career I want to have. I actually took a television set and I cut my picture out and pasted myself into the television set. And then I said, and then I want to marry someone, you know, that's equally yoked. And so I'm short, so usually everyone I dated was a lot taller than me. And I said equally yoked. So the best way I could put it was I evened us out height-wise in the picture, but showed the front of my face in the back of someone else's. I didn't know what their face looked like. And when you look at my husband from the back and you look at my vision board, it looks like he's standing there next to me. And this was years before, right? We got married. I didn't know I was putting that energy into the universe. But what I did say to God is, you know, I've been picking all the Mr. Wrongs. I do a horrible job and picking for myself. So I'm not even going to try. I'm not even going to respond to anybody that's hitting on me. No, and that's when I kind of met him, and I would not give him any play because I was in this mindset of I'm not doing it anymore. I'm going to let God do it for me. Yeah, and I literally said, God, just whoever you want in my life that's going to be there, whoever's going to be my forever ever, I don't want to meet anybody else until then. I'm tired of these Mr. Wrongs and all of this stuff. So he again kept coming into the picture time after time after time. He has a story about how he made sure that happened, and I didn't realize that at the time. But anyway, it wasn't until I realized we had some real commonalities. He was a contractor, I was in the house flipping in real estate, that I got a chance, that I gave myself a chance to get to know him as a person. Because prior to that, running into guys in nightclubs is so...
Yeah, not the recipe for
But that's what was happening. We kept running into each other in nightclubs, and I'm like, I love you're cute and all, but that's just, even though I'm in the nightclub, that's not the type of guy I am.
Let's clear that up though, so just in case people missed the part about the floating the DJ, in the nightclub you got DJ.
Right.
Okay? Not just stalking.
But it didn't matter to me at that time. Because to me, he represented all the Mr. Wrongs, the guys in the nightclub with the fast life and talking to all the women. So I didn't give myself a chance to get to know him outside of that. And again, it wasn't until we met in a different environment that I said, oh, okay, well, maybe we could go on a date.
After that date, did you know that he was the one?
Mm-mm.
But you knew still that she was it for you.
I did. And although she's saying no, there was a vibe and energy between us both that was always there throughout the gaps between us not seeing each other. She tried to play so hard to get.
I didn't play
and I saw it right through it. Right through it. I'm still seeing people. Yeah, I got a date tonight. I'm like, all right, whatever, I'll be here when you get back. I'll be right here. Go ahead, one of your fake dates.
And I think people all the time kind of talk about how some women have reservations of dating a man with kids, but they never really talk about men and what they have to consider when courting a woman when they have kids. What kind of sealed the deal for you and let you know that Egypt was the woman to help you raise your daughter?
Wow. Well, the first interaction between the two. She met Simone when she was 3, going on 4. And I purposely wanted that first encounter. It was one where I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna bring her. I can't bring her. Don't bring her. No. Because there's so much to worry about. You have to worry about both sides. Actually, 3 sides, meaning families. What are they gonna think? What are they gonna say? It's a lot. And this goes through, the parents' head, my head. And I said, I want to see what happens. So I did it. And I knew from that first interaction, like I said, and from that point on, I said,
but I didn't meet her until we'd been dating 6 or 7 months before I actually met her.
Yeah, but still, and I don't remember the restaurant, but I know I can see the scene in my head.
It was Pizzeria Una Secaucus.
Yes. Yep.
And Mommy had hair down to her butt, and she was all bundled up. And she came in, and I'm like, this is the most beautiful little girl I have ever met in my life. But she was not nice. She was like, who is with my daddy?
Oh, she's out.
She was 3, so she was a baby too. But also, you can tell she was like, Daddy, who this woman? And so it took some time really to warm up. But what I liked is he wasn't the type of guy that let you meet his child in the first week, first month.
Right, whatever.
If he did, I would have a question about that. I would think that was irresponsible. But he wanted to make sure that I was actually going to be in a relationship with him and we were on the same page. So we played around for a few months before we started getting serious. And when we both decided this is a relationship, is when he let me beat her. And I respected that. Boom, knock this wall out, bump this wall out. You love it?
You come from a family of real estate agents, correct?
I do.
So when you circled back around to real estate after being in radio, I know you heard it a little bit.
I didn't tell them I got my license.
No.
Because I didn't want to hear, I told you so, that entertainment thing is not going to work out. I didn't want to hear any of that. And plus, I didn't want to do it the traditional way. They were just selling real estate at first. And I was an investor flipping houses. And I would sell my own. That's why I got my license at first. But then the joke was on me. Because I got bit by the bug, right?
A good bug to get bit by.
Absolutely.
And then she came and bit me. With partners in real estate.
Yeah, I made him get his license.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, well, you can fix the houses up. You know, you can do it if you have your license, whatever business I can pass to you, then we can double it up and we gonna fix this. And it really works. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you got hit by that bug, and then in 2019 you got a little Harper bug.
Oh boy.
Well, Harper, that was more than a bug, wasn't it? It almost broke us up.
Really?
Because I wanted another child so bad, and I couldn't. You know, doctors. This is what I say too. Don't believe what doctors say. Believe what God says. Because I had asked every doctor, why I couldn't get pregnant. You know, what the issues were. You know, what can we do? Artificial IVF. It was so many different stories, and what it boiled back to is something that I think is very common in a lot of women, especially Black women, is we suffer from fibroids and endometriosis, and so it causes a lot of scar tissue. So it wasn't that I couldn't get pregnant, really, it was that I couldn't get pregnant. Does that make sense? Because there was just so much scar tissue. And at one point I did, and I couldn't carry the baby, and I had a miscarriage, and so it was just like very emotional. He was over it. And what I mean, we're gonna be honest, right?
Yeah, okay, good.
He had a daughter, and then we had one together, and for him,
That's fine. You're complete.
that's
Yeah,
it.
good.
He said, I don't.
But see, that's just part of it. My thing was scheduling and watching. So let me go back just a little bit. So she is like the dog whisperer, right? She stays bringing dogs to her family, and she tried to bring one home to us in New Jersey. And I'm like, I don't want to know. I don't want to do it. And it wasn't that I didn't want a dog. It was because of our timing and our schedule. I watched how she was with the dog, and I'm like, we're never home. This is not fair to the puppy. So she ended up giving the puppy to a family member. So fast forward to us having a baby now, and it came, again, that same thought. We don't have enough time already. We're going to have another baby. We're already trying to figure out the babysitter situation right now, and we're going to bring another one into this? It's not fair. That's all I kept saying was it's not fair.
Well, there's a part missing from that too. So in the middle of that conversation was, I can't, for whatever reason we tried for years, get pregnant. I should be able to, but I'm not. And the doctors say this is the reason why. But to me, I'm still at the age where I can either someone else can carry my egg.
We have options.
Right, we have options, or we can adopt. And then for whatever reason, the adoption thing stuck with me, and I think it's because my girlfriend adopted a child. And she was just so in love, and her process was so smooth and easy that it stuck to my ribs. And I was really pushing him like, it's adoption, I want to do this, we have to do this, this is the year, we're going to do it. And, he would say, okay, and then all of a sudden he would get ice cold on it. And it started frustrating me how he was going back and forth. It was hot and cold, hot and cold. I'm a Scorpio. We're straight shooters. Are you a Scorpio too? Well, so we're straight shooters, and I just felt some kind of, he was on the fence, and finally he told me what it was. He said, I'm afraid that if we adopt a child, I may not be able to love that child as much as I love my biological children.
That's honest.
It was very honest. And it wasn't until he said that, and I digested that, I realized that maybe I was being selfish because I was pushing what I wanted on him so much, but it was very important to me, to the point where we broke up at one point. Right? We moved out for 2 days. But it was the longest 2 days ever. But yeah, because I was like, this is just so important to me, but I understand how you feel, and I respect how you feel, and thank you for being honest, but this is just so important. So if I have to do it by myself, I'm going to do it by myself. And so finally, we said, let's go away. Let's plan a trip, because we haven't had one together in years, just us. It's always, the kids or whatever. So we planned a trip to Morocco. This was in April that we decided to plan.
Oh, okay.
We went at the top of June. While in Morocco, I was getting very ill. We were in the Atlas Mountains hiking. And I was just like, this air pressure is good. I can't make it enough stuff. I was dizzy, I was nauseous and all of this. When we came down, I still thought it was the air pressure, but the sickness persisted. So then I thought it's food poisoning. We're in another country.
So you think it's everything else.
Right.
But
I definitely didn't think I was pregnant. I mean, what were the chances of that? You know, I didn't think I was. So,
you know what? Even listening to you say it right now at this moment, like, when I tell you I was dead on, everyone we would have a conversation with, oh, when's the next girl? And I'm like, that ain't happening. And she's in the back. I'm like, it's not, and I was like stone cold, it's not happening. No. And while we're in Morocco, it was like literally, like it was a movie or something. 5 o'clock, no stomach. 6 p.m., where did belly come from?
Well, the power of suggestion.
Literally.
Let me tell you what happened. So, when we come down from the Atlas Mountains, we go to the guy who's at the Riyadh. Riyadh is a hotel, is what they call hotels there. And I say, where can I find a pharmacy? Well, try finding a pharmacy in Morocco, let alone a pregnancy test. But it didn't cross my mind at first. So he said, go down here and make a right through the souks. And there's a guy there named Jalil the Healer, who was an apothecary.
okay.
And we went and found this guy. He didn't speak English. But the girl who was there with him spoke English, and she talked to him and she says, oh, he says you're pregnant. And we were like, no, I'm not. She's like, no, he said you're pregnant. You are pregnant. He won't give you the herbs because I thought, I was like, I gotta go. Give me the herbs. And he would not. So now we're walking back.
Calling him all types of crackpots, I'm sure.
So yeah, I'm like, this is crazy. Matter of fact, I posted it on Instagram. So here's what happened today. My top 10 things. Oh, and Jalil the Healer said I'm pregnant. Ha ha ha. And it was a joke. Well, we get back to the Riyadh, and I'm still not feeling good. And he goes, babe, your stomach got really big. This was just from hours earlier.
Well, no, you pointed that out. You were in the mirror. You were like, babe, I do think I'm pregnant. And I'm not paying no attention. And then she turned to the side. I'm like, you got a belly. You got a belly.
So apparently, when we got back, I took 3 pregnancy tests and said yes, yes, and hell yes. And I went to my doctor like, you lied. I was in ponytails. You said I couldn't. And, you know, she was amazed because I've had the same doctor for years, and she'd been, all along with me in the journey. And I said, you know what? Stop. What the problem was, I was asking you, and I asked the other 2 doctors, and I said, I asked everybody else, but I didn't ask God. And I said, funny enough, in April, when me and my husband broke up, I got on my knees and prayed over him. And I asked God at that moment, well, guess what? Come June, when I did find out I was pregnant, I was 2.5 months pregnant.
Wow.
So count back. I don't know if it happened when I said the prayer or if I was already pregnant when I said the prayer, but we willed her into existence.
Because you love me. So then we tried. And it's slow down because you were used to how fast we touched.
So you get to the hospital and you have this beautiful bundle of joy. But is it not like you could just go home right after?
Well, there were complications. I had an anxiety attack because I had contractions that were coming right as they were trying to stick the needle in my back. And then I passed out. I don't remember anything after that. He says that I was awake. I blacked out. When I tell you I don't remember anything. Except the doctor said that I kept saying, I can feel it. And with the C-section, you're not supposed to be able to feel anything. So they kept drugging me, which could lend to why I was blacked out. But they kept doing it so much that they couldn't get a pulse afterward. It was hours before I woke up. I had her at 1:06 a.m. I didn't wake up till 10:50 a.m. Afterward. I was just completely out of it. Well, okay, things like that happen. Right, some people react differently to being put to sleep or to medicine, and that's all, fine. So I delivered her on Thursday. They released me from the hospital after a C-section on Saturday. I know I looked at your expression. When they came in and they said that they were ready to release me because everything looked good. My mother reacted the same way that you just did. Like, what? Excuse me? She just had surgery. Like, you cut her off.
It's major surgery.
But I think what happens is the insurance companies try to mitigate, the costs. And so they basically have parameters to work within the hospitals. And I was feeling okay. At the time, all of the signs were there that I had a healthy delivery other than waking up late. What we didn't realize is the medication and the amount of time that I was under put me at risk because, while you're hooked up to the IVs and they're giving you all the meds and you're under, this fluid is running through your body. So when they checked me out on Saturday night, I was drowning in my sleep, right? Literally, he kept waking me up because he said I wasn't breathing, and I was choking in my sleep, and I didn't understand why. So we waited, funny enough, till Sunday morning, was it? Sunday morning, my mom, my dad, and my husband were all like, we gotta take you back to the hospital. And it was me who was like, no, I'm not leaving my baby. I just had my baby, I'm not leaving her. And they're like, you gotta go. That wasn't normal, it scared everybody. Like, Mike was like, all night I couldn't sleep because I just kept staring at you. You weren't breathing and I kept shaking you. I called the doctor. We told her what symptoms I was having, and she said, get to the hospital immediately. She wouldn't tell me why. She said, get to the hospital immediately. So we went back Sunday morning after being checked out Saturday morning, right? And they ran an echocardiogram. They ran me through the machine. What is that, the MRI, where they run you through and scan your whole body and everything. What it was is that I had fluid. My lungs were full of fluid. I was drowning in my sleep, and it was called fluid overload. And so they had to give me several rounds of Lasix to dry all the fluid out of my body, which also dried my milk. Right. So then that sends you into another spiral, right, as a mom. But they kept me in the hospital for 2 more days. They were afraid that I had developed what's called cardiomyopathy. And it's a heart condition, a cardiac condition that many women can get after pregnancy in their 40s. Here I am in my 40s. I'm going through all the signs of it. I mean, it's totally freaked me out. You can die from cardiomyopathy. So they had me to see a cardiologist several times. I literally still have to go back now. And I have to go every month to see a cardiologist to make sure that I do not develop cardiomyopathy. Right now, I do not have it, but I am at risk for it. And what happened to me in the hospital, they said it's a big red flag for cardiomyopathy. Right now, I put my faith in God. Right? So I just think someone in the hospital messed up big time when they let me out too early, and they didn't check all my vitals because there's no way that you wouldn't have been able to detect that I have fluid in my lungs. You
have your mother who was alarmed, your husband was alarmed. How important is it for you and your family to act as an advocate for you when you are when you are pregnant and Black, which it on top of everything else, you can't even be Black and pregnant and have just that security that you'll be taken care of?
I've read a lot of articles leading up to the delivery of heartburn about, women dying in childbirth. It scared me, but you always think, it can't be me, it won't be me. I'm not a statistic. Unfortunately, you read these type of articles of things that happen in everyday life, and we always think, not us. But I was very close to it being me. Had we not gone back to the hospital, had I tried to wait it out, had I tried to be superwoman, right, and think, I'm gonna be fine, and not listen to them. I don't know that I would say it's because I was a Black woman, that happened to me necessarily. I think that the mortality rates of women in childbirth, the death rates right now, I don't know if people realize this, they equate that to as if we were in a third world country. We're in the United States of America, and now women in childbirth are in jeopardy as if they were living in a third world country. We got to do that, right? We really do. So if anything, it happened to me for a reason, because I think I have a public platform, and people are more apt to listen to me. And I don't care about talking about my experiences, not if it can help someone or change a life. So it was for a reason. that, I believe it happens to me, not because I'm Black.
That's what's wild about it, because you see Serena Williams, I watched her documentary, and she argued with her doctor before having her baby, and she told the doctor when she was having a checkup, I'm not going to be able to do this. Like, I'm telling you right now, I'm not going to be able to have my baby naturally. And the doctor was like, no, you'll be fine. She gets on the table, and what happens? Blood clots. She said, like, I know my body. Beyonce,
she's an athlete. Yeah, she's used to listening to her body.
So it's not even a thing. Status, which I think is another, or monetary status, which I think is another red flag. It's an equal opportunity killer of all women, and it's just so alarming.
What I believe, and you can take this with a grain of salt or not, I think that we are a society now that's used to microwaving everything. We want it fast. We put a time limit on everything for our convenience, and you just cannot put a time limit or crunch on someone who's in childbirth. And so this doctor's being stretched in because now they're needed down the hall, and they've got to finish this by this because they've got to be over here by then because they're understaffed and overworked. And that's why we're seeing women dying in childbirth. There's no other reason for it. Not today, not with all that we know. No.
Was that something that you two discussed prior to having a baby? If something were to happen to you during childbirth, was that something that you guys planned for?
It's not something that we talk, well, on the way to the hospital, no. We did not have that conversation. I had such a joyous pregnancy. It wasn't even really a thought, but we had done it. It's a responsible thing to do when you have children. Prior to that, we've done estate planning. We had a will in place. I had a medical directive in place, so we knew what the call was going to be if anything ever happened, period. But no, right before going to the hospital, that was the last thing on my mind. Like I said, I was like, not me. I've read these stories, it freaks me out, but it's not going to happen to me.
How important is that, not even just when having a baby, but how important is that to make sure that you plan a living will, a regular will, just to have your affairs in order, just in case, God forbid, something happens?
I think when you have children, to not have a medical directive, to not have a will, to not have communication with your partner about expectations, where documents are, where the life insurance policies are, know who to call, where things are stashed, all of that. To not do that is really living on the edge, truly living on the edge, because that's how people become homeless. The provider in the house passes away, and even if they provided, they've not communicated, so no one knows where anything is, or they've not. They've lived their lives, in good order, but they've not planned for the inevitable, which is sad. And so they've not been responsible, and so it leaves the other person ill-prepared. I think it's unfair. It's selfish when you have children and have a family, but you don't plan for all possible scenarios.
I think in the Black community and the Latin community, it's one of those topics that isn't discussed enough. It's also a topic that's feared, so it's not spoken about or taught. Along with finances, political agendas, etc. I think and honestly believe that should be taught just like everything else from first grade on up. This way, the powers that be are not the only ones at the top that know everything.
No, that's how the system was set up.
Of course.
So the system is working, but we need
to keep people as employees.
Like it sucks that people die and their debt becomes their family's debt. That's messed up.
You are raising, at this point, 3 generations of Black girl magic. If you could impart one thing on them, to them, what would that be?
That we have the power to create life and to co-create our own destiny. And so what I mean by that is if we, human beings, we people, have the God-given ability to create and bring forth life, then we certainly have the ability to create the lives that we want.
What are you saying? Are you going to drop
no, definitely. You can definitely drop the mic on that. But for me, to my young ladies, one of the things that I say to everyone is that be the energy you seek to exist. If it doesn't exist, you be it, and believe that there is nothing that you cannot do. I also tell them all the time, be forever learning. You know, sometimes I'll ask Kendall now, but my husband's one's going to probably more so Kendall, what did you learn today that you didn't know yesterday? And if there's nothing, we learn something, no matter how mind-opening it may be. But be forever learning, be the energy you see.
I love that.
Yes.
Before we get out of here, congratulations on finishing your t-shirt.
Thank you.
And you're working on man cave, or is it finished?
It's 90% there.
Okay. Why is it so important for you to have your own like separate spaces to be able to retreat to?
Listen, when you get married, it's very easy to disappear into your mate. You know what I mean by that?
I'm not married, but I understand what you're
Some
saying.
people do that in relationships. Whoever they get with, they disappear into them. Their goal, you know, their mate's goals become their goals. Their mate's dreams become their dreams. And
Their
so,
friends disappear.
yeah, there's no separation. But I think the reason we've lasted for literally 15 years is because we're still our own person. He still has his friends. He has his dreams. He has his goals, and I respect his and support his. And I'm the same on my end. You know, and so that's why it's important to have your own space as well. So you think you gotta have a creative space.
Do you schedule those times to be able to escape? Like if the week is really hectic and you're like, I need to just go to the man cave, just like really quick. 5 minutes.
Sometimes they're scheduled, sometimes they're very spontaneous.
Okay.
Very spontaneous, as in, for instance, let's say
Sometimes he just disappears and nobody knows where he is. We say, oh, wait,
that too.
bang!
But like for instance, let's just say, you know, being in real estate, being in entertainment, business, things are very sporadic. You know, I need the DJ right now. If you can, somebody just called up. Okay, I'm there. And now she's stuck with the baby all night. Then I get home. I'm like, oh, I know. Guess what? You got the shed to yourself all day tomorrow. Wasn't planned, but go ahead. I got the kids. You know, stuff like that. So that's the spontaneous part. But then there's the time where she's like, babe, I want to create. I need to create. Can I get 2 days? And you're like, okay, this is what's on the schedule. Take these 2 days. And go.
So since your t-shirt is done, are you taking advantage while he's still working on his 10%? Are you like, you're just not even finished yet?
Well, no, we got hurt. Had a freak accident, and so I had to jump in, and we together just had someone else come in and finish it. So they're almost done.
I'm still overseeing it though, because it's hard for me to back
I
off.
was saying hard
It is, but I don't know if you saw. Yeah, he really got hurt. Freak accident. So, yeah. I think that's the energy you put out there. This is my floor. No one can come down to my floor. I don't like it.
Okay, got you. Yeah, see, they're funny.
Thank you so much for sharing your family with us and sharing your past and hopefully your future with us. If you live in the back.
Appreciate you. Say bye. Bye. You're cool.